are some foods crunchy and some foods aren't? Wouldn't it be great if every food was crunchy?
Well, why don't we explore foods that crunch today? By the time we're done, we'll be crunch geniuses. Today, we talk about foods that crunch, crack, and crumble when we bite them.
Lily fights sogginess with science.
Avery matches wits with an apple expert.
Whoa, you can really feel the heat. And we team up to make the crunchiest vegetable chip with help from the cruncher meter. Ready? It's crunch time!
We love to cook and we love to eat. We are the taste buds. We can't be beat. We're in the kitchen and hanging out to find out what food is all about. Enjoy the fun. We're always turning on fun heat. Food to explore. There's always something good to eat. Taste buds.
Ew, soggy cereal. Ugh, that's better. But I really need to find some cereal that stays crunchy longer. I better get started.
Hey, Lily. What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to find a cereal that won't lose its crunch. But so far, they all got soggy. The O's, the circles, the shredded cereal, the Fruity O's. Hey, but the nuts in this flaky cereal stayed crunchy. Maybe I should make my own cereal with lots of nuts in them.
Granola!
Hey, Chillbot, I need the recipe for crunchy, nutty granola, please.
Well, let's do it.
We need to preheat the oven.
But first...
All right, the first ingredient to go into the bowl are the rolled oats.
They look crunchy.
Then the recipe says that we can put whatever nuts we want. I was thinking of almonds and pecans, as long as you're not allergic.
No, sure, go ahead.
Okay. Almonds. And pecans. All right, then I'm gonna add some salt. And for my own flair, I'm gonna add some pumpkin seeds. And add a dash of cinnamon.
That's a great idea.
Oh yeah.
Now we just gotta give it a little stir until we're ready, and then we add the wet ingredients.
Mix it together. We need to make them less dry. So for the wet ingredients, I'm gonna put in some vanilla extract, some canola oil, then the honey for a little sweet taste.
It's gonna make it sticky.
And then the brown sugar. Now we mix it all up.
Yeah, we want to mix it until it's nice and evenly coated.
Even. I like that. Now I'm gonna take out my handy dandy spoon. I'm gonna try some.
Looks crunchy.
How is it?
It's actually already good. I'm gonna put it onto the parchment paper. And spread it all out like that.
We're gonna put these in the oven until they're nice and golden brown.
They're really flaky. All right. Take them away, Matt.
All right, I'll get that into the oven.
Ovens are hot. Get a grown-up.
You know, Matt, it's not really different from how they make the cereal that we buy in the stores. This summer, I went on a tour in a cereal factory.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, Chillbot, could you please bring up the footage that I shot? And there's where it goes to the factory's massive ovens, just a bit bigger than the one that we have here. Oh, it's time to go stir the granola.
We stir it so it browns evenly.
It looks like it's getting brown already. Smells really good.
That smells great.
Yeah, I'm gonna set the timer for another 10 minutes. Say, who invented granola anyways?
Alexander Granola Bell.
I think I'll check with an expert. Hey, history buff, who invented granola?
Lucky for you, Lily, in the late 1800s, fashions were fantastic, but breakfasts were boring. Until inventors tried baking grains into sheets and smashing them to crunchy bits. Mr. Post called his invention grape nuts. Doctors Jackson and Kellogg both named their cereals granola, so Dr. Kellogg was forced to change the name of his to granola. For an encore, he invented cornflakes. Soon, more cereals were invented, each trying to outsell the last, often resorting to unhealthy, sugary recipes and cheap prizes.
But I like the prizes.
Even today, many of the sweetest cereals have more sugar per serving than chocolate bars. But in the 1960s, a new generation of breakfast heroes arrived, offering a new alternative.
Cowboys, superheroes, ninjas.
No, hippies.
Hippies?
Inspired by cereal's pioneers, they mixed toasted oats, nuts, and raisins into a crunchy blend they dubbed granola. Granola mania swept the nation, and the world could feel good about breakfast again.
Thanks, history buff. Check it out. The granola's out of the oven and fully cooled. Now I can add some raisins for some chewy texture and put the rest of it into a sealed container.
Uh-oh. We still have a lot of granola left.
Hey, that's just enough to make a granola parfait. I'll make you one in no time. So first, we put some of this yogurt into the bottom of the cup, just like that. Then we add some of these fruits.
Blackberries, raspberries, grapes, peaches.
Then sprinkle it with some granola. Like that. Then we repeat it all over again. Then the fruit.
And then another layer of granola.
You guessed it. Thank you. Just sprinkle it on like so. Okay, let's try these. All right. It's so good and crunchy too. How's your parfait?
Oh, it's perfect. Good job.
Now I can finally read my book and enjoy a nice and crunchy breakfast.
That's your old bowl of cereal. This is the new one with the granola. I tried to warn you. Quick, to the tongue washing station.
I need water. Hey, Chillbot, could you please get me foodie file number 1 of 6A? Adventures in a Crunch. After a mushy morning meal, I had to find a way to make a cereal with a guaranteed crunch. The secret? A touch of sugar and a blast of heat. The result? Big time granola crunch. Perfect for your breakfast, snacks, or your next big book.
For this and other recipes, visit www.tastebudsTV.com. Apples, the crunchiest fruit. I've eaten over 9,000 of them in my life. How much do I actually know about them? I'm about to find out by going brain to brain with a world-class apple expert. Hey, you must be Tom. I'm Avery.
Hi, Avery. Welcome to Algoma Orchards.
Thanks for having me. So what makes you an apple expert?
Well, I've been in produce since I was about your age. I've been in produce for about 27 years.
Wow, looks like you guys got a lot of apples here.
If you think these are a lot of apples, come with me. Brian, this is Avery.
How are you? Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So what do you do around here?
I'm the plant manager here. I like to think I run things.
Oh, cool.
Brian, Avery think there's a lot of apples out front.
Really? You think that's a lot of apples?
Yeah.
Let me show you something here.
Wow! How many apples are in there?
Well, these bins have 850 pounds of apples in each bin, and there's about 400 bins in here. That's an awful lot of apples.
How big is the room to fit all that?
Well, this is quite a large room.
So what do you do with your apples, Brian?
What I do is I'll take these apples here and take them down to our process line, and we'll start processing them so they can be put into bags and boxes to be sent to the stores.
Cool, can we see the processing?
Absolutely. Let's go this way, and I'll show you how it's done.
So what's happening here?
What happens here is when the apples come from our storage facility, we start running them through the line. We put them on this cradle system, And once the automatic system is activated, the apples will go in the water to be sanitized.
So can I push this button?
Hey, absolutely, go right ahead.
Neat. So what is it gonna do?
Right now what's gonna happen is the rake's gonna come by and push this empty bin out so the fresh bin of apples can go in.
So it's just sliding the old one out and putting the new one in?
Sliding the old one out, and all these go in on rollers for the new one. Because it's a lot heavier, we need something to help it go in. Once that does, it lowers in the water, and the whole process starts all over again.
Nice. Cool. So all you have to do is press a button and all of this happens?
All you have to do is press a button, and from this point on, it's all automatic.
So why do apples float?
Well, Avery, apples float because they're made up of about 25% air.
Oh.
So it makes them very buoyant. You ever bob for apples?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's why they float. So what's going on with these sprayers over here?
What the spray system is, because it's a sanitizing water, it just disinfects and cleans the apples. We spray it, make sure it's clean. It's all purified water, and it gets spray rinsed at the same time, so now all the residues have been washed off the apple.
So they're like super clean?
They're super clean. So if you want to take a little trip down the line, I'll show you what happens with the rest of the system.
Okay.
What we have here, let's stand up here just for a second. We'll show you what's going on. This is called the grading system. What Mark's doing here, he's trying to take out any of the visible defects that you might find in an apple.
So what do you do with the apples that have defects?
Well, all these apples have defects. There's nothing wrong with the apple. It's still a great tasting product. So we send it off to a place that makes juice and apple cider. So when you go buy yourself a can of apple juice or a bottle of apple juice, chances are it could be our apples. Come on, I'll show you what goes on down here. What's happening here, Avery, is that once we've graded at that end, we have to remove any of the water and any loose pieces of dirt and branches that go through the system. So this is what they call a brush machine.
So these are all spinning brushes?
They're all spinning brushes. What it's doing, it's actually taking off the excess water and anything loose so it can go on to the next stage of the process.
So how are they moving from one brush to the next one?
What's happening is, as the fruit's coming this way, it just pushes each other down the line. It's kind of like if I push you and you push Tom, and Tom's going to fall the other way. The apples work the same way.
It's like a domino effect.
It's kind of like a domino effect, yes.
So after they roll through the brushing, what happens next?
Well, you may smell something right now. And what we have right here, it kind of smells like wax.
Wax?
What it is we put a food-grade wax on top of the apples, which makes the apple look more pleasing.
So how do they put the wax on there? Do they like smooth it
What we
on?
do is we kind of drip it through a little hose, and it gets sprayed across on looks like an impeller from an airplane. It just gets sprayed across the apples.
So those two propellers are spraying it on?
Those two propellers are actually spraying wax, a very, very fine wax on the apple itself.
So that's why they're so shiny?
That's exactly why they're so shiny. Well, let's go down further and I'll show you what happens next.
Okay. Whoa, you can really feel the heat?
Absolutely.
So what's going on here?
What's happening? You remember when I showed you the wax system?
Yeah.
Well, we have to dry the wax on the apple, so it goes a very quick, about 50 seconds to 1 minute through this dryer. And what's happening, it starts at one end, halfway through the dryer, the apple turns over to get both sides of the apple.
Just long enough to dry the wax.
That's right, just long enough to dry the wax.
Cool. So what's happening in this station?
Well, what's happening here is after the apples come out of the dryer, it passes through this brush that gently puts it on a machine called a sizer.
Sizer, what is that?
Well, it's kind of like what the name sounds like. These apples will fall on these cups and go through this brown box where digital cameras will take 22 pictures of each apple.
22 pictures?
22 pictures.
So these spinning wheels turn the apple so they can get pictures from every angle of
That's
it?
exactly what happens. When the apples go on these cups, you can see they spin. So that way the camera can take a look at all sides of the apple, how large the apple is, and the color of the apple is very important as well. Once it goes through this, it'll have to go through a labeling machine. So we actually put a label on the product to say what type of apple it is.
Oh.
And these particular labels have barcodes on them. So this is a customer requirement. So this barcode tells me the variety of the apple and where it came from. And this is done so when you go buy one single apple in the store, they can just scan that and charge you for one apple and know exactly where it came from. So let's go on down the line and see what happens next. once it comes out of the digital camera box, the computer tells it which lane to actually drop in. And the ladies can actually do another sort, package it in the box, and send it on down the line for shipping. Hey, Avery, want to pack some apples in a bag?
Yeah!
Come on, I'll show you how it's done. Okay, you guys, let's have a competition. The first one that can bag 5 bags of apples gets a free bag of apples to take home with them.
Oh, you're on.
Let's go.
You guys ready?
Yeah!
On your mark, get set, go. Oh, looks like Avery's taking off. He's got the first bag done. Tom's getting a little slow in his old age. Tom, Avery's beating you. Oh, no, Tom's starting to slip ahead, Avery. You can't let that happen. Oh, Tom can't get it up far enough. Oh, Avery's winning. Look at this. Here comes the last bag. Who's going to be going first? You can do it. Look at this. It's going to be numbered. It's going to be close. And Avery wins.
Yeah!
Look at that. He beats you, Tom.
Congratulations, Avery.
Thanks a lot.
Avery, as promised, here's your bag of apples.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
It's nice meeting you, Avery. Have a great
Awesome
day.
going around here today.
Thank you. Take
See you
care.
guys later.
Bye now.
40 foul number 106B. Apples, the crunchiest fruit. I've eaten about 9,000 of them in my life. But how much do I actually know about them? Well, a lot more now. So what's next for me? Apple 9001.
Store-bought potato chips.
Crunchy.
Potato-y.
And covered in weird artificial flavors. This one's sweet salmon cappuccino.
Ew. I think they're running out of ideas.
Plus, they're loaded in deep-fried fat, so they're so unhealthy.
But we're always trying to look for new ways to make fun and healthy snacks. Today's challenge, what's the crunchiest chip we can make? But we're not going to limit ourselves to potatoes. We're going to try...
Maybe we should get some help.
Yeah. Hey, world traveler, what can you tell us about the crunchy chips around the world?
Now, potato chips are so yesterday. In Tokyo, they eat sweet potato chips. In London, it's parsnips. And Mumbai is all about the plantain and carrot chips. And don't forget fruits, like banana chips and apple chips. Did you know I wrote a 23-page poem about chips? It's probably too smart for you. Listen, chomp and crunch, crunch and bite. Chomp and crunch and
Looks like we're losing you. Thanks for the information. Bye. Okay, we've got potatoes, zucchini, and bananas.
And sweet potatoes, my orchard apples, and a kiwi?
Okay, but you have to eat it. Now, for maximum crunch, the dryer is better. So we're gonna have to put these into the oven, like my granola.
Oh, and we have to slice them really thin, or else the foods will just get softer, like apples in an apple pie.
Of course. But first,
Thin slices, huh? This is gonna take some time.
Yeah.
We need a gadget advantage.
hey, Matt!
Making chips, huh? We've got just the thing for that. It's called the mandolin slicer. You just put the fruit or vegetable underneath a safety guard here and pass it back and forth. But we only have one, so one of you will have to use a knife. Let's get started.
Oh, good. Sweet.
These are sharp. Get a grown-up.
All right, so all the slicing is done. Now I'm just gonna cut up this lemon and then put some of the juice onto the fruits to keep them from browning. And then they're ready to go into the preheated oven until they're dry and crispy. Thanks, Matt. So what are you doing, Avery?
I'm preparing the vegetables. You can just put a small coating of oil on it. You can use a brush, but you use a lot less oil, and your chips will be a lot healthier if you use a spray bottle like this one. So I'll just spray it on.
They look shiny.
Then I'll put some coarse salt on them.
Kind of like the salt you use in pretzels.
Yeah. And then you can add your favorite herbs and spices. I'm gonna use freshly ground pepper.
Okay, now the veggies are ready to go into the oven too, until they're golden brown and crunchy.
Ovens are hot. Get a grown-up.
Then, when they're done, we can put their crunchiness to the test.
How?
With a little something called...
The Crunchometer!
It's the Crunch-O-meter. And it measures crunch.
And crunch is what exactly?
Don't you know? Lucky for you, I have this delicious little book from Moscow about the science of crunching. Did you know that sound travels in waves? Or did you know that when you crunch something, you release ultrasound waves that only bats and dolphins can hear?
Thanks, Science Whiz.
The chips are ready.
Let's put them to the test. Whoa, pretty good. Well, the testing is done, and we're ready to crown our king of the chips. Avery?
And the winner is sweet potatoes!
Congratulations, Sweet Potato.
Sweet potatoes might have won our crunch contest, but let your ears be your own crunchometer and try it yourself.
So, Avery, did you figure out why some foods crunch and others don't?
Yep. When it comes to crunch, the drier the better. And oven toasting it takes all the moisture out. So it leaves you with nothing but dry, crunchy goodness. My daydream even came true. Crunchy bananas.
Hey, Chillbot, could you bring up foodie file number 106C, please? King of the Crunch. On a mission to make the crunchiest chip, we gathered up our competitors. After a bit of slicing, a lot of slicing, we put everything into the oven to toast up, dry out, and increase the crunch. So, who won? We did.
For this and other recipes, visit www.tastebudstv.com.